cross-section plotting. I'm going to show you how you can plot cross-sections using the standard PPF file that comes with 12D software in the library. So the first thing I'm going to do on the right here, I've got a section view, and I want to profile one of the cross-sections from the road that I want to plot. So I've just profiled that cross-section there, have that on a view, and I've also loaded the tin survey on this view as well. So the next thing we need to do is just go on the section view here, just go to the printer icon and click on that, and we want a X plot, which is a cross-section plot. It opens up the panel here, an empty panel, and if we've got one that we want to use previously, we can obviously call that one up here, or if you don't have one, we can call one in from the library. So the lib here stands for library, and that's 12D's library. And we can walk right on that one, and we can select the PWA1 basic. Select that and come up to read, and that'll read all the information from that plot parameter file, the PPF file, and populate all these boxes here. The next thing we need to do is to select a view that we've already profiled the string, so it knows what cross sections to plot from what road. And this is the XS view here that I've got. So I'm just going to select the XS view here, and that populates more information in the box, and it's added the model of cross sections to plot here, which is the same model that I've got profiled here with this red string is my design string. So once I've done that, I'm going to copy the road name here, which is the RS2CO1, copy that bit of text, and I'm going to paste that in the top area here where it says plot parameter file, so I can create a file just for this road that I can recall later on and use it if I need to plot cross sections for this road. And the other thing I'm going to do, come down here and change the model name to match the road name, so it's all consistent. So the default is to plot, the plotter type here is a model, so it's going to plot a model within 12D so we can have a look at the cross sections. And that's all we need to do, and I'm just going to write that file just so it's saved away, so next time we come in here we can pick this file here. That's all we need to do. We can just go straight to plot. That's going away, plotting our cross sections for our road, and it's coming up with, it's done 4 sheets of cross sections based on the A1 sheet that we have and the scale that we used here, and that's the default scale, 1:100. So I'm just going to bring up a new view here. Just use this view is used to just view my plotted cross sections and long sections. So on that view I'm going to add my cross section plot, which is that one there, the plot cross for RS2CO1. If I add that to the view, there's all my cross sections, all the 4 sheets, nicely positioned just next to each other. And how it's done that, it's actually merged all the sheets together. So when you plot to a model, on the left hand side here you've got plot to model. There's a plot to model area, and if you click on that, it gives you more options that you can have when you're plotting to a model. So the one thing that's ticked on by default is to merge. So it's going to merge all the sheets together into one, and it's going to translate each sheet by this 850 millimeters here, and there's actually a Y offset here, not down at 0, it's actually spacing at 600 millimeters above that 0 sort of Y axis. Yeah, so they're all our cross sections. So these are standard cross sections that 12D, a PPF file that 12D you can use, the 12D supply, and yeah, that's how you can plot a series of cross sections, and you can change all these, the interval of the cross sections that you can change, and you can change the colors and fonts and everything to do with this plot. But that's a good base to start with if you haven't got anything to start with. Now I'm going to show you how you can export these cross sections into a .dwg file so they can be opened in a CAD package. So if you click back into the section cross plot main top option there and go into this plotter type here, it opens up more options, and there's a DWG option, and I'm going to click on the unmapped for now. We select that as the plotter type, and it kept the same name that we had before, and it's put a .dwg file extension on it. And now we just go to plot, and that'll go away, and it'll create 4 separate CAD files for those cross sections. And there we said it's plotted the 4 pages. And now if we go to our working directory, and there's our 4 sheets, 4 drawings essentially, DWG files, and it's numbered them 001 to 004. So if we open up that first sheet in BricsCAD, we'll see what they look like. And there they are, exactly as they were in 12D, but now they're in CAD, so with all the text and all the boxes and everything that was set in that PPF file, which is looking fine. If we check the layers in CAD now, it's all plotted onto one layer called plot, which is okay if you want that. Some people don't want that, they want separate layers for the different elements plotted. So I'm just going to show you how we can do that. So there's the unmapped file there, so let's just close that one, and let's go back into 12D. Under the plotter type, we can go into the sectional plot, and by selecting the sectional plot, it's going to populate all the different elements of the cross sections, the boxes, and all the text into separate layers, and we'll have a look at that now. So just select that and just go plot, and it'll go away. It'll recreate those drawings again a second time, and we can see what they look like. So if we go back to our working directory, and let's open up the first drawing again, and let's have a look at that. So now you can see it's much different, because it's using a map file. So that sectional plot in the background, there's a bit of black magic going on. 12D, that plotter type is calling a map file and a drawing template file, which will put all the different names onto all the different layers. If we have a look at the layers now, we've got all the layers that were in the map file, and this is obviously for plans and sections and long sections, and we don't have all those layers in here. So if we just do a purge, here, we'll just purge all the layers that there's nothing on there if they're unused, and then we're left with just the layers for the cross section plotting. And they're the different layers that you get. So you get the design on a layer, the survey on a layer, and all the text is on separate layers, and the boxes and the uprights. And that's the standard 12D sort of layer naming convention that they've come up with. And I'm going to show you next how we can actually create our own map file and our own template, and we can get exactly what we're after with these cross sections. But if you're happy with that, then that's worked, and it's created the cross sections in the separate layers. So back into 12D, and I'm just going to change that plotter type now back to the model. and just replot those. So what I'll do, I'll replot those again, but I'll make some changes. One thing I'll do, I'll remove the title block, because we probably won't need the title block in the CAD program, because we will normally, if people choose to do that, they've probably got their own title block in CAD. So there's a title block area here on the left, and we can just untick that box there, and that'll just replot those 4 sheets again within 12D, and it won't plot the title blocks, so they've been removed, and that's how you can do that. And the other thing I'll do as well, before I plot them out a second time, I'm going to change that spacing. You can see now the spacing between the cross sections is 20 meters, and I'm going to show you where you can change the interval for your cross sections, and that's in this box here, cross section filtering. And that's where we're going to filter the cross sections, so we can tick that on, and we can specify the interval here. So I'm just going to change that to 10 meters and just replot those cross sections. And if I hit plot again, now we should get cross sections at every 10 meters instead of every 20. Yeah, so now we've got cross sections at 10 meters, and we'll have a lot more sheets now. Now we've got eight pages, so double the amount of sheets, which is fine. I'll just leave that for now, just to show you the next part of this. So we're not going to plot them to CAD by using this method here. We're going to go up to File, and we're going to go to Data Output, and we're going to pick the DWG here and pick the DWG output. So I'm just going to minimize my cross-section plotting panel. So that's the panel that comes up when we want to export from 12D into a DWG file. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add the cross-section model that I want to plot, and that's this model here. So I can pick that model there, and then I need to give it a file name. So I'll just call it plot cross-section RS2CO1, which is the road name, and that's all I need there. I'll just change that to a 2D, so it exports it as 2D, not 3D for the cross sections. And I'm going to just hit write, and that's written the file. If we click up here, there's the cross-section file that I've just written, and I can just select that and just go open from here as well. And let's just open that. That was our other cross-section sheet. So now you can see I've got all those 8 sheets plotted in a CAD program, and they're looking exactly like they were in 12D with the 10 meter spacing that I changed, which is all great. It's worked fine. We'll just check the layers in CAD here, and again it's just given me one layer with everything plotted on there, and the model name was plot XS, and then the road name, so that's the layer name that it's given, which is fine for some people. Are happy with that. Other people want to actually give it to a CAD team, and they want to change the different colors for the different parts of the cross sections, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's just close that now, and we won't save that. We can probably close that as well. Finish with that one. So back into 12D, and this is where the map file comes in play here. So if it's grayed out, it's an option, and we want to use a map file now, and I'll show you how we can apply a map file to create the different layers. So that was the one I did for the long section. If you watched, the previous video is on the long section. This one here, I'm going to do one for the cross section. So I'm just going to put that name in there. I don't have that map file name in here, so I can go down to open, and it's going to create a blank one for me so I can populate. So the way this map file works is the 12D name here is the name of these plotted elements. So if I zoom in here and do an F2, so this natural surface string here is the name is PPF survey surface, and the name of the design is PPF design. So that's how it will map. It will map the names of the string, all the different names that we have for the text and for the uprights, and we can specify what ACAD layer we need. So the quickest way to populate all those, there is a quick way. If we click in this 12D name area and do a right mouse click, we can go populate by name, and then we can just select the model that we're interested in, and that's our cross-section model here, and we can just go to populate, and that'll give us all of those top two I just showed you here, which is the design and the existing, and all the other names of all the other parts of the cross-section. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy all that that list there and paste it as the name, as the ACAD layer name, and I'm just going to move the PPF from there, because that won't mean much in the CAD drawing. So I'm going to remove all the PPFs in here, and I'm just left with that there. And what I'll change in here is I'll just put surface in there to be consistent with the survey. And the color, I'm going to use a DWG file later, and I'll just show you. So that we're going to let the CAD program control the color and line style. So I'm just going to put by layer in there, by layer for the color, line style, and the text style. So I'm just going to paste that down to all the other lines, and that's essentially all we need. We can write that file now, and now if we go into that map file, there we have it. We've written this file and it's ready to be used. So we can just finish on that, and then yeah, it's already selected. So when we plot it now, we're just going to map these lines into those layers essentially. So now if we do plot, if we write that to plot the cross sections, yes, we want to override the previous ones or the previous one, and if we click on here and we open that file now, let's see what we get. So everything's white, I guess because it's created new layers, and I think the default color for CAD when you create a new layer is white. And now we'll check all the layers, and now we have, instead of having the one layer, we do have all those separate layers that we just created in the map file, and they're all white because that's the default color for CAD. So what I'm going to do now, I need to create a DWG file, like a drawing template that we can use, and the easiest way to do that, I'm just going to use this file here. I'm just going to erase all the line work here, and now I've got a blank drawing with no lines on there, but I do have all the layers that I'm interested in. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to put different colors for the different layers here. So I'm just going to leave that one as white. The line work, I'm just going to change that to yellow. The design, I'm going to make red, and the survey surface, I'm going to make this brown color here. And then we get into the text colors. This one I'll make cyan, the next one can be green, and I'll leave the last one as white, and the uprights I'll change to this grey color here. So I've just changed those colors, and I'll just change one of the line styles as well for the survey surface. So I'll just load, I'll make it a dashed line just so you can see how that works. So they're all continuous, but the survey should be a dashed line. So I've set all my colors and line styles. I'm happy with that. Now I can just come up to here and just save this file as. So I want to save as, and when it comes back, I want to go down and change it to a DWG, which is a drawing template, and I just want to call this plot cross section. because it's not road specific, I can use this file for all of my roads, CO1 and CO2 and how many you have. So then we can just go save on that. And now we're finished with that, we can close. So back to 12D. Now the other area here that's grayed out, so that's optional, you can use a template file. And now the cross-section one that I created, we can select that in there, and I've got my map file which I've got in there, and that's all I need. So if I go right now and override that file, yes, and open that drawing again, and we can do that from within 12D. Now we've got some nice colors that I've created using the template file, and you can see straight away the existing surface is dashed there because I put a dashed line type in for that existing surface there. So there's all my layers, and now they've actually got colors instead of them being white because I defined it in the DWG file. And there's your cross sections plotted into the layers that you've requested, and that's how you can do that exercise. So back into 12D, just want to show you one last thing before we finish up, just how you can save this panel. So next time you want to plot your cross sections, instead of bringing up blank right DWG panel and filling it all out again, we can actually save this panel away. And how you can do that, if you click on the top left cube here and come down to dump, and essentially we want to dump this panel out, and it creates a little file. It's a .slx file. It stands for a screen layout file, and we can give it a name. So the default name it gives it is the same name as the panel. So this will work for any panel in 12D. So we're going to change the words here, and I'm just going to put this name here in here. So we're going to call that right DWG, and then it's plot cross sections, and that's for road CO1. So we're going to dump that file out and finish that, and now we can finish on this panel. So next time we want to do our cross sections, we can call that panel by going under File, Layouts, and then Layout Input, and there's the cross section one, and the one above that is the one I did for the long sections in the previous video. So now if I load the cross section one, we got that panel exactly as we filled it out, and we can ready to export our cross sections again when our design changes. So look, thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful.